Hello again, everybody. Welcome back. It's time for spellings this week. Now, hopefully you have engaged with spellings, whether that was at home or at school. So last Tuesday, there was the spelling video where we set last week's spellings, or if you were in school, of course, you took home a home learning sheet and we set them in school. Hopefully one way or another, you've been learning your spellings this week. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to test last week's spellings, and then we're going to set this week's spelling. So hopefully you've been keeping up and you've been practicing at home along the way. So we're going to start today's spelling test. There are 12 spellings on the main list. So I had to count there. 12 spellings on the main list and then 18 on the challenge list. So if you've been learning the main list, there are 12 spellings. If you've been learning the challenge words as well, there are 18. So as soon as you're ready then, have your pen and paper to hand and we will test last week's spellings. Spelling 1, the word is bigger. The naughty pupil blamed it on the bigger boy. Spelling 2, the word is biggest. He wanted to see the biggest animal in the zoo. Spelling 3, the word is closer. The family wanted to move closer to London. Spelling 4, the word is closest. Their closest neighbours were lovely. Spelling 5 is happier. We're hoping for a happier 2021 than 2020. Spelling 6 is happiest. I'm at my happiest when I'm at the football. Or with my wife, just in case she's listening. Spelling 7, hotter. It's hotter in Spain than it is in England. Spelling 8 is hottest. The hottest room of the school is the kitchen. Spelling 9, quicker. If I'm going a bit quicker than you're used to, you can always pause the video. Spelling 10 is quickest. The quickest way to school is round the back. Spelling 11 is safer. We have a safer internet day every year in school. Spelling 12 is safest. The safest place to be at the moment is indoors. Spelling 13 is, I should say now, we're on to the challenge words now. So if you're just on the main list, well done, you can pause there and you can skip it a little bit. If you're doing the challenge words, we're starting your additional ones now. Spelling 13 is fiercer. The monkeys in the zoo are fiercer when they haven't been fed. Spelling 14 is fiercest. I wouldn't want to be left alone in a room with the fiercest monkey after he's not been fed. Spelling 15 is lonelier. We can feel a bit lonelier during lockdown. Spelling 16 is loneliest. I think 2020 might have been the loneliest year on record. Spelling 17 is noisier. Year 3 is going to be a lot noisier when you're all back. And spelling 18 is noisiest. I don't think we're the noisiest class in the school. Not by a long way, I don't think. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to catch all of those. Obviously, if you need to hear any again, you can always rewind the video a little bit. But if you are ready, here are the answers for you to check and mark yourself. So check how you got on. Have a good look and see, were there any that you got wrong? Were there sort of maybe pairs that you got wrong? So maybe you got noisier and noisiest. Those might be good ones to look back at again. If there were sort of big problems you were having, maybe you sort of missed out one of the spelling patterns, maybe you got all the S words, but not the words, for example. See if you can notice where you were going wrong and see if you can practice that a little bit more. That would be a really handy thing to do if you didn't get a huge amount right. Okay, let's start and have a look then at next week's spellings. So these spellings I'm setting today, and they're going to be tested on Tuesday, the 26th of January. So that's 1 week from today. And that's whether you're in school or out of school. Tuesday, the 26th of January. Yeah, we'll be testing these either online or in school. So please make sure we're learning these ones. Now, have a look at all the words while I'm reading these out. Firstly, can you spot the spelling pattern? Can you notice what all of these have in common? Additionally, can you notice what type of word we're looking at here? So are these nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs? Have a good think while I'm reading these out. Babies, boxes, buses, churches, families, glasses, ladies, photos, stories, taxes, washes, businesses, countries, potatoes, tomatoes, and volcanoes. I should say, obviously, we've got the main list there in bold. We've got the challenge words here, not in bold. So did you notice what these words have in common then? What was our common spelling rule that they all have in common? Okay, our spelling pattern today then, these are all, firstly, they're all nouns. That means they are the names of people, places, objects, things. And in this case, they are all plural nouns. Now that word plural means we're talking about more than one of that thing. So I'm not talking about one baby, I'm talking about babies. I'm not talking about one box, I'm talking about a number of boxes. I'm not talking about one bus, I'm talking about a number of buses, and so on. You get the idea. Now, normally you might be thinking, aha, I know the spelling rule when there's a plural noun. I know that. I can do cat into cats, and I can do cup into cups. I can do shoe into shoes. I know what I need to do for that. I just put an S on the end, you might be thinking. However, let's have a look at these words without the S on the end. Baby, box, and bus. Do we normally spell those with an E on the end? No, we don't. No, we wouldn't have B-O-X-E, for example. That wouldn't be the singular form of that noun. So what we're looking at here, for the most part, I should just say I've chucked in photos there just as an example of the fact that sometimes we do just add on an S to the end of our nouns. But actually, for most of these, that isn't the case. Mostly this week, we're looking at what happens. If I just highlight here the first rule, and that's to say that usually we just add an S onto nouns to make this plural. And actually you can see that there in photos. But that's not the case for all of these. Because what we're going to be looking at today is when the noun ends in, and it's an S, a sh, a ch, an X or a Z, or on a consonant and then an O, I'll show you some examples of that in a second, we add an ES to the end instead. Now let's have a look. Boxes, buses, churches, glasses, taxis, washes, businesses. Okay, yeah, so here are all of our spelling words then where we add on an ES. And actually, if you have a look at those words that I've highlighted in blue there, we can see that each of these has the root word itself with just the ES added on. Now, there is also an extra rule here. It's a bit of a tricky one this week. Oh, sorry, I should have just added on these ones as well. I'm so sorry. Because sorry, you're getting this all wrong, aren't I? Sorry, potatoes, tomatoes, and volcanoes. So I should have added these ones on as well, because these are ones where we've got an ES on the end of the main word. And this is where we've got a consonant and then an O. So potato, tomato, volcano, we've got an O on the end before a consonant. So it's ES for those ones as well. Now, have a look at the remaining ones. I wonder if you can spot what's different about these ones. We add on an IES like this to words that normally have a Y at the end. So baby, also family as well, I've missed off, lady, story, country. These would normally be words that end in Y. If a word normally ends in a Y, sorry, if a noun normally ends in a Y and we need to write the plural, we get rid of the Y and change it to an IES ending. So here are your spelling words for this week. I'm going to get rid of the color coding there just so you can see these a bit more easily. Obviously, you can go back to that if you'd like it a bit later on. So here are your spelling words. And the way we're going to practice these this week, I've got some new spelling tasks. If you had one last week that you really liked, so maybe you really enjoyed the pyramid writing, maybe you really enjoyed doing some silly sentences, you're very welcome to use those ones again. But here are 4 other ways you could practice your spellings. So you could play hangman. If you have your set of spellings in front of you here, you could make yourself a hangman game using one of these words and play hangman with each other. You could play pass a word. So if you focus on one word in particular, maybe you're thinking, do you know what, I don't think I could spell taxes at the moment. You would think of that word, have a good write of it, maybe sort of practice it a few times, and then you could pass that word back and forth with someone else with a ball. So I would throw the ball to you and say T, you'd throw the ball back to me and say A, I throw it back and say X, E, S. And we get our spelling word passed back and forth between us. You can practice your spellings with your right hand and then your left hand, or vice versa. You can trace around the outline of each one with different colour. There are all sorts of different ways you can practice your spellings. I like to flash up a few at the end of every spelling session. You can sort of pick which one you'd like to do, or maybe a combination you'd like to do. And hopefully over time, you'll pick up some that you really enjoy and really like doing, and you'll be able to use those strategies as we go on. Okay, thank you for watching our video today. Hopefully you got on okay with your spellings and you'll be practicing these ahead of next Tuesday. I look forward to seeing you back on our YouTube channel, same time, same place tomorrow morning. Until then, have a great rest of the day and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye everyone.